The time is now 6 p.m. Our special session of our City Council meeting for November 16th, 2020 is now in session. First on the agenda is Councilmember Dalla will lead us with the opening prayer and the pledges of allegiance to the flags of the United States and the state of Texas. Please rise.
Heavenly Father, each of us in our own way would invoke your presence with us here tonight as we gather on this ceremonious occasion. In your wisdom, you have set us as individuals within families. You have gathered those families into communities, and those communities have combined to make us a truly remarkable nation. One of those hallmarks is why we come before you tonight. It is the peaceful change of leadership that we will see replicated thousands of times over the next few months across this great land as newly elected officials take on their newfound responsibilities to lead. And so we come before you this evening with this, but one example of why our hearts are deeply thankful for all the gifts that we have. We are also thankful to those friends and family members that have helped us to get to where we are. And we are thankful to our previous and current council members for all their hard labor, all their previous endeavors on behalf of our city. Indeed, we all come from many places, backgrounds, ethnicities, and by many paths. Yet tonight, we all come here inspired by a singular mission: to find what is best and struggle to achieve the well-being of all those who inhabit this beloved city we call home. As our newly elected city council members assume their new responsibilities to lead our city, may they be empowered to bear their responsibility of leadership with the utmost integrity, courage, and humility. May we always see in them a fierce dedication to service, and may they always have a willingness to work tirelessly to achieve what is best for our community. May they be inspired with courage, vision, and compassion so that they may stand in solidarity and work together for goals and purposes larger than themselves. May they also be guided with the wisdom to know what is right and the strength to do what is right. May our intentions be sincere, our labor selfless, and may we become a shining example for all to follow. May we all view this remarkable moment as an invitation to move forward with purpose and intention as we navigate the powerful currents of change. And finally, may your will continue to protect all of our first responders that so willingly and fearlessly choose to serve and protect our beloved city. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Councilmember Dalla. Council and guests, while seated, it is perfectly fine for you to remove your mask or while speaking at the podium. But as you approach the dais or depart the chamber, we respectfully ask that you place your face mask back on. Also, due to COVID-19 concerns, roaming the chamber is prohibited. Okay, we'll continue with hearing the residents. And the hearing the residents, this time is set aside for anyone who wishes to address the City Council. The rules are posted right up here, and just so that everyone's familiar, some of you may not understand the complexity of a City Council meeting, but during the hearing the residents, these are 5 basic items that you should remember. The presiding officer will call those individuals who have signed up to speak in the order they have registered. Individuals wanting to speak should have filled out the speaker's registration prior to this meeting, and presentations are limited to 3 minutes. Any person making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks while addressing the council may be requested to leave the meeting. And discussions by council on any item not listed on the agenda should be limited to statements of specific factual information given in response to the inquiry. Now, I have the hearing the residents sign-up sheet here. Is there anyone that has not signed up? This is a perfect opportunity if you want to address the City Council. No takers? All right. We'll proceed. The first one is Ms. Kathy Marston.
Good evening, Mayor Gutierrez and council members. I am Dr. Kathy Marston, and some of the council know that my family has lived in the Schertz area since 1982. I am the executive assistant for the Texas Unitarian Universalist Justice Ministry, and I am the grant coordinator for Mono Omega San Marcos. I work both of these jobs remotely and live here in Schertz. I'm also the founder of an unincorporated social justice nonprofit based here in Schertz, Free Battered Texas Women. Like other citizens, I saw the news coverage of horrific, inexcusable police brutality against a Black teenager on November 2nd. I would like to encourage the mayor to make police accountability an agenda item for a future meeting. We need a Citizens Police Review Board and anti-bias and de-escalation training in the force. I say this as someone who was assaulted by a Schertz police officer on January 13th, 2003. I was working as a researcher in Iowa and came down for the holidays to visit my parents here in Schertz. I was driving and passed by an officer who was writing a ticket for a driver on Elbel in front of the high school. By the time I got to the light at FM 3009, this officer was right behind me with his lights on. I turned on to 3009 and turned into what was then the parking lot of the Dutch Boy Cleaners next to the 7-Eleven. This was a different time, y'all. There was no Starbucks, there was no buildup there along 3009. Officer Albert Arriaga claimed falsely that I was speeding. When I gave him my driver's license, he asked me to step out of the car. He told me to put my hands on the hood. I complied. Then he slammed me face first into my hood, grabbing my arms and handcuffing me. He called for backup. When his buddies arrived, he stuck his foot out in front of mine and pushed me so that I would trip and fall on my face. When I sat in holding at the Schertz Police Department, they did not believe that I lived in Iowa, even they were holding my Iowa driver's license in their hands. Another officer, Mark Bain, bent my pinky and ring finger down on my left hand and squeezed them painfully, saying, "Where do you live?" I thought he was going to break my fingers. Arriaga trumped up 2 different misdemeanor charges that day, failure to ID and resisting arrest. They were dismissed. He is still on the force. We do not pay taxes so that the police can wrongfully charge people or assault people. I think we all can agree on that. I ask, please, we need a hearing on police accountability. We need a police citizens review board. We cannot go on like this. Thank you so much for your time, for your work for us today, and have a safe, healthy evening. Thank you.
Next is Mr. Bobby Jones.
Thank you. Totally unprepared for this. I was asked to come by several people today. My name is Bobby Jones, Bobby F. Jones. It's a lot of Bobby Joneses. And I'm a son of a preacher man. I was born and raised in a good environment. Did 2 retirements from the United States Air Force. I also retired from the Guadalupe County Sheriff's Office. And I preference all of that to say that I can see both sides of the same issue that the young lady was just spoke about. I see both sides. And unfortunately, there's a lot of confusion that happens. Myself, I've always honored people, community, respect. I never took home and stole 1 government ink pen, but I've been in handcuffs 8 times. I've had dogs sicked on me twice, with my son standing on the shoulder of me one time playing basketball. I've had a lot of abuse. It feels horrible. It cuts to your core. Someone told me yesterday that, and some of my best friends, people always say, are white. some of my best friends. But people says, Bobby, they will never see they will never experience this. They will never understand this. So my grandson is 15 years old, and I have the opportunity to talk to him one day to try to explain to him from a police perspective what to do if you're stopped. By the time I talked to him, this kid had probably 60 different people telling him what to do. Young black people, older black men, they're confused. They're confused. They shouldn't have to be confused, but they are, because they don't know what to do. You know, and it's sad. This young man here, I ain't gonna tell him what he was told. There's no telling what this kid was told. If they catch you and if you stay there, they're gonna choke you to death. And what are they gonna do to you? Maybe I should run. It's sad. They don't know what to do. And unfortunately, this kid did the wrong thing by running. He did the wrong thing. Obviously, he was pulled over because he made a violation, probable cause to stop. He didn't stop. But the unfortunate thing on top of that was what I felt from a police officer. This chief of police here, I believe he's an honorable man. Honorable man. But I tell you this, every person on the force does not reflect an honorable chief or honorable sheriff. Not every person. Sometimes your adrenaline, sometimes your epinephrine and norepinephrine can get in the way, and you're trying to survive. You don't know what to do. Why is he going to pull a gun on me? Is he going to pull a gun? Is he going to, police have been shot and killed by people holding up their hands, surrendering. Boom, they shoot them. And it's a sad thing. Those cops had to do whatever they knew to do, but once they got the kid, I don't agree with that.
Sir, go ahead and continue if you like to.
So, just in closing, I believe that our community is a good community. I believe we have the capacity to help and to assist our police agencies. We can, people talks about training. A lot of times, in my experience, it doesn't have anything to do with training. It has all to do with the heart, your heart. I'm a dark black person. Just have the heart to treat me the same way you may treat this person, just the heart. Unfortunately, this young lady here, she got treated just like I got treated. So it's not so much the training, it's the conversation. It's conversation. Teaching people to care and have compassion for one another. That's what I believe, and that's what I want to say. And I believe that all the anger that people have called me about this situation here, it's honest anger. But we have to understand you can't just run from a cop when he says stop. You can't do that. You can't do that. I can't let you do it. As me as a cop, I will not allow you to do it. I don't know if you're going to shoot me. I don't know what you're going to do to me. You go in the house, your friend may come out and blow my head off. I don't know. I've got to stop you. But once I stop you, then my compassion has to switch from norepinephrine and epinephrine and adrenaline. It has to switch back to a normal person. Okay, I got you. Okay. Here we are. So I just wanted to say that this is a good place. Church is a good place. People make mistakes on both ends, Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Jones, I gave your husband your time, even though you scratched out your name. All right, next is Michael Carpenter.
Michael Carpenter, 3613 Calvert Street here in Schertz. Mr. Mayor, members of council, I wanted to come before you this evening and share a couple of thoughts. And the first one being my thanks to the people of the city of Schertz that live in Precinct 3 for electing me to serve them again, albeit in a different capacity. I will approach my new role at the county with the same vigor and and love for the citizens as I did when I served the city. But I would also very much like to thank Mr. Larson for his service over the last several years as a member of this council. It was an honor and a privilege to serve with you. I'd like to congratulate the members of council that have been reelected. Congratulations to you. And to Mrs. Whitaker, who will be joining the City Council here in just a few minutes, for all the things that you do. It is a very difficult job. It's difficult to sit in each one of those chairs. It's difficult to sit in that middle seat and know that the difficulty that you experience as you serve the community, and when you feel that, lets you know that you're doing it correctly. If you were flippant and it was not something that you took personal, then you wouldn't be the right people. That it does affect you personally, that you do internalize the things that you see, and you work hard to make sure that you do the best job that you can, is what we ask of you as citizens. So to all of you, thank you. To those of you returning to office, congratulations for having served. Thank you again. It was an honor and privilege to serve with you. And Mrs. Whitaker, congratulations as well. Mr. Mayor, thank you as always. I appreciate it.
We'll continue with discussion and action items. Item number 1, resolution number 20R-133. Consideration or action approving a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, canvassing the returns and declaring the results of November 3rd, 2020 general elections and other matters in connection therewith. Ms. Dennis, you have the floor.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council, staff. Before you is the resolution 20R-133, and I will read the following results of the election from November the 3rd. This is for place 3. Mr. Cedric Average received 8,231. Ms. Jill Whitaker received 8,739. City Council place 4, Michael Dalla received 13,880. Place 5, David Scagliola received 8,708. Gwen Jones received 6,980. With those results being said, it is hereby declared elected to the office of Council Place 3, Ms. Jill Whitaker. It is hereby declared re-elected to the office of Councilmember Place 4, Michael Dalla. It is also hereby declared re-elected to the office of Councilmember Place 5, David Scagliola. Those are the results from the election. I recommend approval.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Dennis. Council, floor is open for discussion.
Mayor, make a motion to approve resolution number 20R-133.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Larson, second by Councilmember Dalla. Before we take the vote, I'd just like to say the turnout was great. I mean, when you add up the numbers, there was close to 17,000 Schertz residents that came out to vote. That is 40% of our population, and I'm counting kids that didn't have the right to vote. So that number is just, thank you all for exercising your right to vote and making your selections. Thank you. Okay, with that in mind, we have a motion made by Councilmember Larson, second by Councilmember Dalla. No other comments. Let's go ahead and take the vote.
Aye.
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 We have 7 ayes, no objection. Motion passes. We'll continue with a roll call confirmation. Our City Secretary, Brenda Dennis, will now provide the roll call confirmation vote.
Yes, Mayor. Item number 1, resolution 20R-133. A motion was made by Councilmember Larson, seconded by Councilmember Dalla. Mayor Pro Tem Scott, Councilmembers Davis, Larson, Dalla, Scagliola, Hayward, and Brown voted yes. No one voted no. Motion passed.
Thank you, Ms. Dennis. We'll continue with farewell comments regarding departure of Councilmember Larson. First, I'd like to start off by saying thank you, Councilmember Larson. The reason I'm sitting here on this chair is it's basically because of the gentleman sitting to my right. He's the one that just planted the seed in my mind to run for City Council. I never thought of running for public office until until we had a small discussion. So he played a crucial role as to why I'm seated here. It has been my pleasure to be seated right next to Councilmember Larson on this dais. He has a unique way of approaching some of the topics that we discussed, which is great because that is what it's all about, discussion. Give us your point of view. Tell us exactly what your intentions are. You know, add some flavor to it. He certainly did in most cases, and that's the intent of sitting on council. We have 7 individuals here that help shape what our city is going to look like. And Mr. Larson has made a very strong impact on our city. And thank you for your service, Mr. Larson. Council, any comments? Councilmember Dalla.
Just add on that, thank you, Mr. Larson. You know, we didn't always agree on subjects and discussions, but I knew when that I was going to be opposed to you, I better have my information straight and be ready to have a good discussion with you, and thank you for that.
Councilmember Hayward.
Councilman Larson, thank you so much for giving us some things to think about while you're on council. You always had sometimes a different take, so it made us think about it. And there's some things you won me over on, and I truly love your passion, and I hope that whatever you do in the future is you're very successful with it because you are passionate and you're very concerned about what goes on. And I just want to say thank you for having that passion and getting us to possibly rethink some things.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott.
Yes, Councilman Larson, you're quite a unique individual, and I've, on a personal level, I've always liked people that are a little off-center, and I say that in a very complimentary way. I don't know you very well, but I would say you're an artist. And on top of that, you're very analytic, you're passionate, and you're so well-grounded. You're just a breath of fresh air. Not referring to city council, I think we're all very well-grounded, but if I can use a poetic metaphor, you're the voice of reason in a world that's insane. And not talking about us, just you are just really a special person, and thank you so, so much.
And again, I echo the same there, Scott. Your passion is incomparable, and your wit is always welcome. At the end of the day, you brought us all together, and look forward to seeing you around town. Good luck.
Okay, Councilmember Davis.
Yes, echoing everything. Like Councilman Dalla, for the longest time, Councilman Larson and I probably weren't on the same page and had a lot of disagreements, but I need to thank him because he did an exceptional job of keeping us grounded. And I'm going to truly miss having you at budget meetings and budget retreats because I think you give a perspective that we do need to look at and take into consideration and be thoughtful of our actions in everything that we do. Thank you very much for your service.
Councilmember Scagliola.
Yeah, as we were leaving last week, I saw you in the parking lot, and I says I'd like to say I was going to miss you. And I guess that could be taken a whole lot of ways, but the truth of the matter is, yes, I will miss you. You had some keen insights, and I knew I had to be on my game if my arguments were going to sway anybody against your arguments. We didn't always agree, but I think come budget time, we put our heads together and really came to a consensus. You know, for me, it's not compromise, it's collaboration. And I think that's when you and I truly showed what we could offer this city. That's all I have, sir.
All right, thank you. We'll continue with the farewell recognition, and I'll come down here. Ms. Dennis, will you meet me at the podium? And not yet. And Councilmember Larson, will you join us up here too, please? Councilmember Larson, on behalf of the city, we'd like to present you with the city flag for your years of service and your dedication to our city and everything that you have done for us. Why don't you come around over here? We need you in the picture, too.
Oh, well, let's get up here.
We also like to present Councilmember Larson with a small token of his years of service here. Councilmember Larson, thank you again for your years of service. Godspeed and God bless.
Whatever you want. Let me have it.
I'd say don't worry, I don't have a speech written, but that's probably worse. Where's Dan? Am I still subject to the Open Meetings Act?
No, our attorney is not present for this.
I really don't have anything, and I do really appreciate the kind words. It's kind of awkward to sit there as people say kind things about you, many of them undeserving. And I often talked about the absurdity of council in general. This event, I don't want this to sound like I'm not thankful for this, it's very moving, but this event kind of highlights some of that absurdity that I struggle with. Very formal pomp and circumstance type stuff. I've enjoyed my time on council, and I've really wanted to make the community a better place for Schertz, and I've learned a lot about what moves, and I don't need to go into the whole history of how I ended up running for council, but I love politics. I love politics. I've always loved politics. And that's weird. It's not popular to love politics. Even politicians say they don't like politics. And I don't just love the idea of politics. I love the messiness of politics. I love the dirtiness of politics. I love the arguing, the back and forth, the passion, the pleas, even sometimes the anger of politics. And none of that's new. We see it now and we think, oh, we're a uniquely divisive country. That's not true. We're not uniquely divisive. It's just that divisiveness is broadcast 24/7 and everybody has a platform to say it. And I love the divisiveness not because I love people being divided, but because I love what politics represents. It's an alternate to what was for thousands of years in human history. Politics wasn't politics. It wasn't arguing. It wasn't impassioned pleas. It wasn't cries for mercy or justice or what is right in front of a body of people who are here to serve you. It was death and destruction and despair. And so we've replaced that with a system that we don't have to pretend like the founding of our nation was perfect. We don't have to whitewash that. We don't have to pretend like the people who founded this country were perfect. They weren't. We don't even have to pretend like the system they created was perfect, because it's not. It's not perfect. But I love it, and I love to be a part of it, because as of today, as of what we've experienced in human history, it's the best thing we've got. And it's the best opportunity people have to get government out of the way and let individuals become the best version of themselves. And we have a lot of opportunity to grow in that. We always will. As humanity, we've never reached the beacon, and we never will on this side of earth. But I love politics, and I love the dirtiness, and I love the argument, because I love what it represents in terms of human history. And what it's done is ushered in a period of humanity that, quite frankly, is the golden age in all of humanity. That doesn't mean we don't have pockets of weakness, but it means that we've never been more prosperous. There's never been less war. There's never been less violence. There's never been less poverty in any time in human history than today. And if we're born in this era, we're born in the golden age of humanity, not because of anything other than transferring from the system of where we kill people we disagree to where we fight with them on the battlefield of ideas. And I love that. And to be a part of that is an honor that I don't deserve. And the absurdity of city council demonstrates that, not to knock anybody here, but there's 8 of us elected. And when you're elected, you don't know anything. I don't care how long you've followed politics. I don't care what committees you've sat on. Until you're on that side of the dais, you don't realize how little you know. And so you've elected people that don't know anything to make decisions about your life that impact your life on a daily basis. And it's absolutely absurd. But here's the dirty little secret of politics on all levels. Politics is 95% run by staff, the people you don't see. And the council, the elected people, they're the ones that sometimes set direction with the help of staff. And the city of Schertz has been an exceptional city because it has an exceptional team of staff and an exceptional city manager and an exceptional group of leadership. And so while I would love to take credit for all of the wonderful things that have happened in the 4 years, I've played a very small role, very, very, very small role, nearly insignificant compared to that. And the beauty of politics is that we get to elect people to set that course and to make sure that we have the team in place to execute it. I'll also say something that now is an unpopular thing, going back to the divisiveness, is I think ultimately, as angry as we get at people who are on the other political team, we're not that different. I think there's a lot of times disagreement in which we construe disagreement to be disagreement with values, a difference in values at the core of who we are, and that's simply not true. If I were to look around, if I were to turn around and look at this audience here, I would venture to say that every single one of them, unless they're a sociopath, is interested in making sure everybody has affordable access to health care. I would imagine that every single person here is interested in making sure that justice is equally applied to everybody in the community. I would venture to say that everybody here wants to see peace, and they want to see their neighbors prosper, and they want everybody to have equal opportunity. I think when you get down to the core of who we are as a people in this nation, the differences that we have are not on a basic foundational level values. That's what they want you to believe. That's what gets people riled up. I think we have the same values. It's just an argument over strategy. How do we achieve those goals? There is no boogeyman. The people on the other side of the aisle aren't trying to make you oppressed by socialism, or they're not trying to be fascists that dominate your life. They're trying to achieve the same things. Our disagreements on how do we get there. And so I hope that we can remember that as we go forward. I think there's room for disagreement. And when I started council, I said I demanded the right to be wrong, and I continue to demand that right even though I'm not on council anymore. And finally, I'll say, close Windy Swan Pool. And I'll finish with this. I am unworthy of the honor to represent other people and to make decisions that impact their lives so aggressively. But I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to do that. And may the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face to you and give you peace. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you just witnessed why we will miss Councilmember Larson. At this time, I'd like to do a ceremonial gavel for his years of service. Thank you again, Councilmember, Mr. Larson.
Mark.
We'll continue with the oath of office of newly and re-elected officers. Ms. Dennis, will you? Floor is yours.
Yes, Mayor, can I please have Ms. Jill Whitaker up front, please? Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Jill Whitaker,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of City Council Place 3
of City Council, Place 3,
for the City of Schertz,
for the City of Schertz,
and will to my best ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the constitutional laws of the United States
the constitutional laws of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, if you would mind, your family, we'd like to have a little ceremony thing.
Thomas
May they
and
please
my
come up?
husband, Jeff.
We'd like to have a little ceremony thing for the family to place her nameplate on, and so she can sit up on the dais. May I please have Michael Dalla and his family up, please? Don't get out of this. Mr. Dalla, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Michael Dalla,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of City Council Place 4
of the office of City Council Place 4
for the City of Schertz.
for the City of Schertz,
I will, to my best ability,
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the constitutional laws
the constitutional laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state, so help me God.
and of the state, so help me God.
Congratulations. If I can please have Dr. Scagliola and his family. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, David L. Scagliola,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of City Council Place 5
of the office of City Council Member, Place 5,
for the City of Schertz.
for the City of Schertz,
I will, to my best ability,
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the constitutional laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Turn on that mic. Ladies and gentlemen, your Schertz City Council for 2020-2021 is now seated. We'll continue with comments by newly elected and re-elected council members. First, I'd like to allow me to introduce Ms. Jill Whitaker, a U.S. Air Force veteran, married to Jeff Whitaker and mother of 3 boys. Congratulations on your election. Ms. Whitaker.
Thank you. First, I'd like to say thank you. Like Mr. Larson, I am not a big fan of the ceremony. I'm really excited about this opportunity, but this is my least favorite part of the process. In the military, we always have hail and farewells where the new people get to be introduced and then the people leave and they get to have a speech. And I somehow managed to get by in my 7 years in the Air Force and escaping all my assignments without having to do any formal farewell, and I don't recall any hails, so, but here I am and having to do it again, so I guess it was going to happen. But first of all, I just want to say that it's an honor to be here on the dais. It's amazing to be an elected official and know that over 8,000 people took the time to go down the ballot and look for city council and to actually find my name and vote for me. So I'm greatly thankful for all of those people who participated in the process, made a decision, and thankful very much for those people who voted for me. The campaign was a very exciting time, but I'm ready to get to the hard part now and actually work as a city council member. But before that all happens, I wanted to say thank you to so many people who made this possible. Within the campaign, there were just many people that volunteered their time, from hanging door hangers in neighborhoods and holding my sign at the polling place. I had some amazing ladies here in Schertz who volunteered to put a giant magnet on the side of their car with my name, Jill. And so Nellie Eichler, Brenda King, and Stacy Wallings were all wonderful, along with myself. So if you saw that Jill magnet, I had multiple people out there. It wasn't me driving around in different cars. I wanted to say a special thank you to Laura Simmons, who she was the first person that I talked to about this idea that maybe I wanted to run for city council. She's a fellow realtor at my brokerage, and I just kind of brought it up to her one day as we were talking on the phone, and I said, you know, what do you think about this idea? And she said, I think it's great, and whatever you need from me, just let me know. And so about 3 days later, I said, were you serious? Because apparently I need a treasurer, and so I've got to put somebody's name down. So she said, do it, and she was a huge support and encourager the entire way through the process. So I definitely wanted to thank her. My family, who has been really supportive, my sorry. I actually practiced this and got teary-eyed when I practiced this well. But my mom and dad, who are super excited for me, and I just appreciate their support. They're in Pennsylvania, but they were following the campaign the whole way and just super excited for me and for the opportunity. For my mother-in-law and her husband Dave, Pat and Dave Rohr, out in Ohio, super supportive. And then my husband's Aunt Joan, she has been a supporter this whole time. She's super excited about the process and just was excited that I wanted to jump in there and get involved in local politics. And of course, my immediate family, my husband Jeff, my oldest son Patrick, William, my middle son, and Thomas, who's over there waving at me this entire time. They have been really supportive, have put up with the last 3 months of me not being around much, standing at the polls so that I could maybe show one more person my sign so they'd remember my name when they went in to vote and hopefully give me one more vote. And honestly, every little vote helped because it was so close. So thank you so much to all of you for putting up with me and for your patience. I greatly appreciate that. And I love you all very much. Lastly, I wanted to say thank you to the city council members and the mayor and the city staff. So they have been so welcoming throughout this entire process. They have answered any questions that I have had. This is truly, I may have said this before, but this is my first rodeo in politics. I've not done this before, and so I had a lot of questions, and everyone was so welcoming and just thoughtful and helpful with the process. And so I'm really excited to be here, to be a part of this organization, this group of people, and especially just to be part of the city of Schertz and be a part of keeping it just this wonderful place to live. And so thank you to everyone, and I'm excited, and that's it. Thank you.
We'll continue with Councilmember Michael Dalla. Congratulations on your re-election for City Council Place 4. Michael?
Just a few thank yous. Obviously, I have to start with my wife. We've known each other nearly 40 years. Been married coming up on 31 of those years. And I certainly could not have accomplished anything that I've ever done without her help and support. My two lovely daughters, they're a little bit of a challenge sometimes, but I love the support that they've given me over the years, as well as I decided to embark on this adventure on participating in city government, even going back to my time on planning and zoning. And also, I want to thank, the 13,800 some odd people that voted for me. Yes, I was unopposed in this election, and I don't know how that happened in a presidential election year, but those folks did not have to press that button to vote for me, and so I'm deeply humbled and appreciative of all those that did vote for me, and I certainly hope that I will be able to live up to everybody's expectations. That is all, sir.
And finally, Councilmember Dr. Scagliola, congratulations on your re-election to City Council Place 5.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank my wife for being here. I could probably count on my hand, one hand, the number of times she's come to council meetings. So this is a special day for me. Yeah, generally I tend to make my farewell speeches very impassioned and eloquent. But for a re-election, let me just say, hey, I'm honored. I really am, for the opportunity to serve the residents of Schertz for another 3 years. Les bon temps roule. Let the good times roll, baby. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you. Please join us for some light refreshments at the Civic Center. The time is now 6:49. We stand adjourned.
Y'all match. Look very cute. Oh, that's awesome.
No.
So cute.
No.
That's a fan. Yeah, I know that. That was really neat.